rise and talk on the Westpac New Zealand bill. In particular, I just want to talk about a couple of things about Westpac, what's applying around this bill, in particular for Christchurch. Not many people know that the Westpac building in Christchurch was one of the most heavily damaged buildings in the recent earthquake, and many of the staff were very much traumatised and worried about the results of that, what they meant for their jobs. This bill actually has some really interesting things in it around people's employment, and all the people that were previously employed by the Westpac Banking Corporation will be transferred through to Westpac New Zealand. And that might not seem a big deal, but I was talking to somebody who was in that Westpac building during the earthquake, and they knew about this bill, and they actually asked me that question. So it was actually a bit of a pleasure to actually know a little bit about what this particular bill will mean, and for them that their job will be retained, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, these are one of these neat little bills which tidy up a little bit of things that put in place a bit of improvement to the fiduciary management of our assets in New Zealand. And Westpac in New Zealand has been around for a very long time. They're a good corporate citizen in my own community in the east coast of Christchurch. They do a very good job putting in place a thing called Coast Care program, and that's got to be a good thing and helping cleaning up our beaches, particularly given what we've been through, Mr. Speaker. There's been a bit of comment and changes about, not really about the select committee process. We only really received one submission on the select committee process, and that was actually from the promoter itself. It seems a bit of a surprise. People, given the number of customers that Westpac have got, there might have been thousands of submissions and worries, but there was not. There was just the one by the promoter. That is a very strange circumstance, I'm told, Mr. Speaker. And that led to two very small technical changes to the bill, which actually did improve things, I think, a little bit. Mr. Speaker, Westpac has a very long and proud tradition, as I pointed out. It's my own personal bank. It's one I've had since I was 5 years old. And I was very pleasure when I was 5 years old, I opened my first bank account with Westpac. And I must admit, Mr. Speaker, unlike Mr. Robinson, this bill actually doesn't deal with personal retail banking. It deals with corporate banking at a large scale. And one of those things in terms of people's own assets are completely protected, and large assets are being transferred through. There's a cap being put in place of $15 billion, and that's got to be a really good thing to make sure there's no concerns or worries that do exist, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the bill itself is one of those ones which, given the lack of real interest, which I was surprised about, and the uncontroversial nature of this bill before Parliament, it just shows you how much a good job that people have done, and that the member bringing this bill to the House, Craig Foster's done in bringing this bill to the House. And that shows you he's a very good chair, and as is the deputy chair, Ms Adams does a good job, and our overall committee does a wonderful job of bringing us through the Select Committee process. And I think from many perspectives, we actually have done a good team effort. And what doesn't happen very often in our Select Committee, we often have at loggerheads debating some of the technicalities of finance. Here's a good finance bill that everybody was in agreement for, Mr. Speaker, and that doesn't happen very often whatsoever. And I think we should be commended for that and sit down. Thank you.
Sorry to interrupt the honourable member. The time has come for me to leave the chair. This debate is interrupted. I shall resume the chair at 7:30.